Here we go. Okay, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Legends Known Classics. This is episode number 3094, Doubleshot 2988. First up we have is X-Force by Ben Percy, Volume 7. This is the penultimate trade to discuss because I've already done Volume 8 already, so after this one, it's on to Volume 9, and then we're done with this volume. Hooray! So, this book contains issues 38 to 42 of X-Force, Volume 6. Of course, by Ben Percy, artwork by Robert Gill, who does 30 and 40, and, well, also, I think he does half of the story. He co-does it with Paul Davidson, who does that issue plus 41-42. So we begin where we left off in the pages of Wolverine, where Wolverine brings the dead version of Hank McCoy back. And of course, basically, because of the whole evil aspect, so they vote to make a new leader of X-Force. Beast can no longer be trusted, so Sage is a leader, but he represents the Quiet Council, so Colossus volunteers to join the roster to represent the Quiet Council. You're like, okay, so the team is now comprised of Sage, Colossus, Black Tom Cassidy, Deadpool, Mega Red, Domino, and the Laura McKinley Wolverine. First part is called Internal Affairs, which is mostly about X-Force. We have Deadpool just carving out, shooting out his own version of Mount Rushmore, which is so funny. Yes, I found this to be funny. So, and of course, doing a little tree stuff here because Black Tom Cassidy thinks of trees. And then we see the Juggernaut and Strong Guy with Laura, and they start a mini barroom brawl with the Blob. Yep. Yeah, and of course, I mentioned the fact that Wolverine has resigned from X-Force. Yep, he's no longer part of the team. As a matter of fact, he's not part of the team for the rest of the series. Well, this time, anyways. Even for the relaunch, under Jeffrey Thorne, he's now part of the line. The team was led by Forge, and it got canceled at 10 issues. It was real, so... Yeah, people basically, these kids playing around, and attacked by monsters, and of course X-Force comes in, deals with the monsters, and then by sheer complete randomness, Quentin Quintero shows up, and he has a pink beard, because, pink hair. You can think of this guy as Old Man Quentin Quintero, and the whole thing is what the heck he's up to. And the whole thing is like, they're all doomed. Yep. And they're basically fighting other monsters. And then we see a version of Wolverine where he's like trapped in a head of a jar. And then we see like a version of Beast. Yeah, a lot of this is basically them going to the future for a few issues. And of course, battling other mutants per se. We have Beast basically going to Egypt to just wake up a mummy. Like move out of the way just so he can put a clone of himself. And also he apparently has lost weight because now he is ripped. Because part of this man was chubby and now he's massively ripped. He goes from Egypt to frickin' Rome, and then he goes to China, and then he goes to Mexico, saves various labs of the place. Basically, X-Force is now trying to shut down what he's trying to do. And then you have Deadpool basically act like he's king of the monsters once again. Yep, he gets blown because you have Quentin running like a pink bullet. Yeah, and of course more time traveling here. That's kind of what happens in the course of these issues, just lots of time traveling. And basically do stuff in the future. Deadpool kills the thing, and then they all go back and then you see somebody from the past, Robbie, you look like his brother, and that's it here. Not a lot happens here. Aside from the fact we return Quentin Quintero, not a lot happens. And can you believe this is the second to last trade of this whole run? So it's like, takeaways of this book is that Beast has been removed as leader of X-Force. Sage becomes the leader, and Colossus joins the team. Quentin Quintero comes back, the time travel stuff, and that's really all that happens over the course of 4 issues. And the next trade will be the last one. I would say of this whole run so far, these issues are mostly put the weakest ones out of all the entire run so far. But I'm going to give the book roughly 8 out of 10, because it was a bit of a step down from the last set of issues. But next time at the end. Next up we have is Web Warriors Volume 2. Excuse me, Spider Versus. Yep. This contains issues 8 through 11 of Web Warriors, written by Mike Costa, with co-artwork, basic artwork, most of all the issues, except for co-written issue 10 with Jay Frigate, is done by Dave Bolden. Most of the issues is basically building up toward the Electros leaving their confinement cage in Battery Park in the world of Lady Spider. And that's kind of what the what the plot of this thing is. It is most of what, okay, so the Web Warriors are back in their HQ after they took it back from the Electroverse. We also have the Dr. Octopi here, basic Ultraverse Dr. Octopus. Most of the plot, they just go to different universes, fight some threats. It's like basically like what was there when the series started. It's like, okay, we wrap that up, and then we have to build to the very end because the series is not selling very well for some reason. Let's have a team fight Ultimate Venoms. We see a version of looks like Peter Parker. He was like a kid being punched out. More Venom stuff here because my guess they include this because of Venomverse. And then we see looks like a version of Peter Parker. He's drinking. And we see Mary Jane Watson at this bar with a smartphone. Get a phone call, and the whole thing is that's not Mary Jane Watson. I think it's supposed to be not sure who it's supposed to be. He just looks like Peter Parker, and then we see like a version of this redhead woman. And the next few issues, that was a standalone issue, believe it or not, issue 6. 7 starts a brief story arc where the Web Warriors work with Spider-Punk, aka Hobby Brown. Yes, in this world, Peter Parker never became. Spider-Man was Hobby Brown. With his parents here by, get this, Spider-Ham oh, come on, seriously. Spider-Ham 2099. Yes, this appearance feels completely random. Yeah. And by the way, Spider-Ham is questioned about this. He has no idea what the heck is going on with this guy here. Yeah, he just shows up here. And then you have Ben basically with Mayday and yeah, and then of course Hobby brings him in to, and then everybody gets contacted, and then we see they go to the world of Spider-Ham 2099 where we see Duck Butts and Doctor Doom 2099. Okay, this I thought was funny. And it looks like he's got the Infinity Gauntlet, and of course you have the Web fighting him because we visited his world. And then then we have a robot, we have a mech fight in this book. You're like, really? Yes, really, a mech fight between the Spider-Bot. I think this is basically the Spider-Bot from Japanese Spider-Man, I think it is. They don't show who the pilot is. Just yeah, and then we have all these sandwiches made by looks like it's made by Lady Park. I think it's Mayday Parker. And who the sandwiches for? The trapped Electros. Yeah, that's pretty much the reason for it. What the reason? And then for some strange reason, they go to another world where we see Oscorp, and then the barriers is coming down where the trapped Electros are. Yep. And then we see a animal version of the Avengers. You're like, what's going on here? Of course, stuff here with Noir stuff here. And also, for some reason, that the Spider-Noir's world has been altered for reasons. And then, of course, the Electros show up. And we have all of them attack. And then, door opens up with Mayday and actually versus Spider-Man and Spider-Man Noir. Where Harry has taken over. Apparently, Oscorp is being run by Harry Osborn. This version, anyways. Then we see Dr. Octopus. Well, the human Dr. Octopus, Octavia Otto, where she runs into Mayday, basically runs into Mary Jane Watson. Like, oh yeah, we need home for all these old shit Spider-Men. They're just happily here. You're like, okay. Yep. And they're just gathering people up. Ben Parker's here. Basically, and then we have revealed this guy here. This is Norman Osborn. And ultimately Norman Osborn takes over their headquarters. And he tries to tear apart the Web of Destiny. And he takes over the Spider-Bot. I actually think Ben Parker does. There's lots of fighting. Eventually they take it back. There's even joking here about swapping bodies, which I'm sure it's Mike Costa basically running a poking fun at Dan Slott here. Then of course everything is included with Electro stopping this ultimate version of Osborn. And then the book just ends. Right there. Those of you curious, what happens next? Spider-Gaiden happens next when it comes to the Web Warriors. As for a lot of them, like, in the case of, like, the Ultimate Parker, after this book wraps up, he's never seen again. This is the last time physically appeared. As for the rest of the cast, well, some of them do return in Spider-Gaiden, where in the opening issue, Spider-UK dies. They also kill Spider-Man Noir, but he comes back. Where does he come back, I might ask? He comes back during a crossover between Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales Spider-Man. The truck crossover was kissing a tree, and that's why he just comes back to life somehow. Yeah, that's kind of what happens there. Final thoughts on the Web Warriors book. It's an interesting book per se, but I can kind of see how the book got canceled. It felt as though basically, like, you read this book, like, they have a plan for the first arc, and then it's like, Wrath they chop Electros. What's the purpose of this book? And what happened, this is my I think the book basically, after the first arc wrapped up, I think the sales start slipping with the book. Yes. I don't blame Mike Costa for this. It's not his fault. It's just that he was just writing the story. You read this book also, it's like he had a plan, but then you come to the second story arc and like, okay. It felt like we were leading a little too much Norman Osborn, and also maybe because Marvel was trying to kill the whole Ultimate Spider-Man stuff in the comics, because it's not because of Sony, because I think people were just going to burnout. Yes, I like the whole Web Warriors concept. It's a shame the team does not return after Spider-Gaiden wraps up. The team disappears. They're never seen again. A lot of them anyways. I think that Spider-Bot was probably Japanese Spider-Man, but they showed the pilot. I heard that was because of legal issues. Yes. But I'm gonna give the book an 8 out of 10. It's kind of good. I love the artwork for this book. But it's like after the first issue, it's like, what's the purpose of this book now? It's like, now I can see why the book got canceled, because it felt as though that Mike Costa just didn't have any idea what to do with this book right after he did that opening story arc. Electrics get freed, and they all get returned to alternate universes, and that's the last we see of the Electroverse people. Same with Dr. Octopus. We don't see them again after this. A lot of the characters in this book do not return after this book, and it's not the character's fault. It's basically, I could blame Mike Costa for this, but I'm probably gonna blame this on his editor. Yeah, I'm blaming his editor, but I still like the concept of Web Warriors. I thought it was really good. But not really much else to say with this thing. But that's going to be pretty much that particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do this like button. Well, Next up, basically, is going to be, well, 100 girlfriends. Okay, next video. Bye.